In this video, I'm going to take you through TryHackMe's takeover room. So this room is basically about subdomain takeover, and let's just get into it. What's a subdomain takeover? A subdomain takeover happens when a company leaves a DNS record pointing to an external service, but the external resource no longer exists. So this creates an opportunity for an attacker to claim the abandoned resource and gain control of the company's domain, subdomain, I mean. So I think I should just show you how that basically works. Let me take you to my Obsidian notes here. So here you have the main domain, google.com, www.google.com. Then you have the subdomain, support.google.com. So what happens is this subdomain via the CNAME points to the Google support. This is the resource where this support.google.com is being hosted at this S3 web host resource. So how a subdomain takeover works: when Google decides that they don't need this bucket anymore, they can decide to delete it and do away with it. So a malicious attacker might go and try to enumerate the subdomains, and they might find that this is just dangling and doesn't point to anything. So what they'll do, they'll go ahead and create an S3 bucket with this particular name here. Then now what will happen is when users go and search for this support.google.com, they will be directed to this Google support, which is no longer belonging to Google itself, but to the malicious attacker. And that is just the subdomain takeover. Let me give you a simple mental model. The domain is like an apartment building. This one here, the main domain. Then a subdomain is like a specific apartment. The CNAME is now the forwarding address that forwards it to the actual resource, right here, like the Amazon S3 bucket. Now, imagine this. There's an address that points to an abandoned property that someone else can rent. You used to rent that particular apartment unit, but now you've moved out, and now someone else rents the apartment. But when a friend of yours writes you a letter, he addresses it to this apartment to which you've already moved from. Now, the letter will be delivered to this apartment unit where you no longer live. That means that the new tenant in that apartment unit will be able to receive your letters which were intended for you. Now, what happens is this is a dangerous security risk, because a huge security risk, because users trust company-owned subdomains, and an attacker controlling a subdomain would host a phishing page or steal credentials or impersonate company services. And they can even go further on to steal users' cookies and do all sorts of malicious stuff. So let's get that out of the way. I hope you've understood what a subdomain takeover is, and let's get to the room itself. So in a subdomain takeover, let's already have the target machine running over here. So here we have this. You can read through this, but what happens here is we're being told that the website is located at this particular URL, and we are being told here that we should not forget to add this IP address to the etc hosts file. So I'll just go ahead and do that. And just to say that the etc host file is like a local mini DNS database, which helps us to resolve the URL to that particular IP address. So instead of going to because that IP address is not in the public internet domain. So yeah, the etc host will help us to resolve that domain name. So I'll just paste it here. Then what have we done? So yeah, insert. That's okay. Then I'll do future vera.thm then escape, right and quit. Then yeah, let's do cat etc hosts and check. So yeah, we have it right here. So now we can go ahead here and go to that link and do futurevera.thm, and yeah, we have this web page over here. But before we proceed to checking out the web page, which has nothing juicy, let me show you my Nmap scan right here. I did an Nmap scan right here to save on time. Let me just enlarge the screen. So here we have the Nmap, which is a network mapper used for scanning ports. You can also use Rust scan. Then here I use the flags TAC-SC for using the default NSC scripts. Then TAC-SV for service detection. Then TAC-PN for to skip the host discovery because you know the machine is up already. Then TAC capital uppercase A is just for an aggressive scan, which is a noisy scan, rather noisy scan, but yeah, why not use it in this kind of situation? But it's not advisable to be used in the real world. So now that you know that we should be enumerating the subdomains, what I did next was use FFUF. FFUF is just a tool used to automate fuzzing, to make fuzzing a little bit faster. So I use FFUF to fuzz for the subdomains. So here we have our word list here. It is under user share seglists. If you don't have it, just install the seglist and you'll have it. I'm using the common txt. Then tag h to show that we want to grab the header, which will be inserted here under this fuzz here. So for every word list, for every word that is in the common.txt, it will be imported here under this fuzz. So yeah, that is what FFUF will be doing. Then you have the IP address here. Just replace this with the IP address. Then tag fs this is to ignore the errors. The errors are of this file size 4005. So we are ignoring the errors. And when you run that, you'll get this blog and this support. So what we'll do before we proceed, we'll add both the blog and the support to the etc host file. So again, I'll just get into the etc host file, i4 insert, then I'll add the subdomains that we've gotten there. So futurevera.thm. Then you also have blog.futurevera.thm. So escape, I'll do right and quit, then if we do etc host just to confirm, yeah, we have them there. So right now if you go to our web browser here and check for, let's start with the blog.futurevera.thm. Then let's do support.futurevera.thm. Then I forgot, we should be adding the HTTPS right here, and also add that here, HTTPS. Okay, this should be FutureVera. Yeah, we have these two web pages, and let me just show you the Nmap scan. Did we do the? Yeah, I've already shown you the Nmap scan. Okay, I've not shown you the results though. Sorry for that. Where is our Nmap scan now? Should it be here? Here it is. So here we have port 22, the typical SSH port right here. We have port 80 for hosting. This is hosting this Apache web server, HTTP. Then you have port 443, which is hosting again another web page. 443 is HTTPS, while 80 is HTTP. So let's proceed and have these two web pages. We have this, the initial, the main domain. Then you have these subdomains, which the support and the blog. So there's nothing in these web pages, but the juicy bit is in this SSL or TLS certificates. So, and by the way, if the websites don't load, just go to proceed, advance, then accept risk or something of that sort, then it will work for you. So now what we'll do is view certificate. So if you come here and view certificate, this is for the support.featurevera subdomain. There is this. So this is a dangling configuration, which misconfiguration, I mean, which was left here. And what we'll do, we'll grab it, then add it to our etc hosts file. So I'm gonna just do that, then i4 insert, then we'll add it here. So I'll just paste it right there. I have it nice and neat. Escape, then okay. So now when we go ahead and look it up here, let's include HTTP. What is it resolving to? Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, right. It should be HTTP, not HTTPS, because it's a service which is no longer there. So when you enter that, you realize that it redirects you to this particular link, which is the flag that we are looking for this room. But here's the juicy bit. We see this extension here is an extension telling us that this was an abandoned resource, which is an S3 Amazon AWS web hosting resource. So initially, what now we know is that the support for this FeatureVera website was being hosted under this AWS S3 bucket, but it seems like they did away with it, but left that information here in the certificates. So this also shows you that certificate enumeration is also something that you really want to focus on when trying out these rooms. And yeah, now let's grab the flag. So the flag is this one here minus the extension. We'll just take away the dot later on. So just grab that and get back here. And yeah, that is the correct answer here. As you can see, it's the correct answer. So because I've already done this room earlier on, but yeah, that is basically what the subdomain takeover is about in this particular room. And I hope you've seen how a perfect example of how a simple DNS misconfiguration can lead to a potentially huge security risk. So yeah, that's why companies are usually advised to do regular audits of the DNS registries to make sure that there's no abandoned resource that has been left dangling that a malicious attacker can tap into and recreate and do a subdomain takeover. So yeah, I'll see you in the next room. Cheers.